You know, there's an old adage in sports: you can't fire the whole team. You can only fire the coach when the squad does poorly, either regular season or playoffs. Now, the Toronto Maple Leafs in the last number of regular seasons have been very, very good, but in the postseason, they've been very, very bad. So, who do you blame? Do you blame management? Do you blame players that are underperforming, or in some cases, like Austin Matthews, overperforming, where they put too much pressure on the player to do everything for the people that can't do it? But this is kind of a surprise, but not a surprise. Sheldon Keefe, who is probably one of the most uncharismatic head coaches in NHL history, has been fired as the Buds head coach. Ironically, he has had a very strong record with Toronto: 212, 97, and 40 in 349 regular season games. Of course, Keefe led the Leafs into the first round against Boston. The team trailed after a poor effort in the first game. First four games being behind 3-1, came back to tie, but lost in overtime on a supposed icing goal by Pasternak in Game 7. It was icing, and I'm not even a fan of both teams. Now, according to CBC and AP, and this is from Adam Carter of CBC mostly, the Toronto Maple Leafs have fired head coach Sheldon Keefe, the team announced Thursday. The organization will immediately begin the search for a new head coach, the squad said in a statement. In a video released on Twitter, Keefe said he will be forever grateful for the opportunity to coach the Leafs. It's a dream come true for a boy from Brampton. Now, his end of season press conference, he didn't really make much mention of his thoughts. He would be relieved, but I think a rejig was required. Now, the team has had three consecutive 100-point seasons with Keefe behind the bench, including a team record 115-point season in 2022, but they've been lost in the first round, I think, it's 7 straight years, and they've only won 2 playoff series in the last 22 campaigns. Pretty freaky. Now, the Leafs routinely came up short in the playoffs with Keefe at the helm, sporting a single playoff round win against Tampa Bay last season, which was an out-and-out miracle, and a 16-21 postseason record overall. After an up-and-down season in 2024, Toronto lost to the Bruins in a series-deciding 7-game in Boston last weekend. Despite finally getting the organization over a painful playoff hump last spring, when the Leafs advanced to the second round for the first time in 2 decades, Keefe was unable to keep the momentum going. Toronto bowed out in the tepid 5 games to the Panthers in the second round in 2023 before Kyle Dubas was fired as GM less than 2 weeks later. It's very rare that the GM is fired but the coach is not fired. This was reversed. GM was fired first and then Keefe. That dismissal followed a roller coaster stretch that led to questions about Keefe's future, but new GM Brad Treliving elected to keep the Dubas loyalists after taking the reins, and then inked the coach from Brampton through extension through 2026. There was no indication there's been a contract rejig on that. Now, today's decision was difficult, Treliving said in a statement. Sheldon is an excellent coach and a great man. However, we determined a new voice is needed to help the team push through to reach our ultimate goal. That has been a press release staple as a comment for decades. That's nothing new from any PR person. We thank Sheldon for his hard work and dedication to the organization over the last 9 years and wish him and his family all the very best. I'm glad for him he's getting out of Toronto. I think he'd be better with like the Team Canada program. Now, it's unclear what will happen to teams' ACs. The Leafs said in Thursday's statement that the assistant coaches will be decisions regarding the remainder of the staff in the coming weeks. Now, special teams has been a focal point of the team's playoff failures in recent years, and this latest 7-game debacle against the Bruins was no exception. The Leafs only scored a single power play goal in 21 tries against the Bruins, which would call assistant coach Guy Boucher's job into question as he ran the power play. Now, in his video mentioned Thursday, Keefe thanked these players for reference throughout his tenure, as well as the team's management and support staff. He called these ousting part of the reality of working in the NHL. I didn't get it done in the playoffs. I didn't help push our team over the line to deliver. I accept responsibility for that. No excuses. That's a job and I didn't get it done, he said. This is the bummer, and almost as bad as Mitch Marner's were considered gods. Leafs Nation deserve a Stanley Cup. Your passion at home and on the road is unmatched. Bullshit. I don't think so. Anyway, do the Maple Leafs deserve a Stanley Cup? No. 58 years of futility. one of the biggest droughts in Major League sport history. The Ballard curse fucked Keefe over and everybody else. This team needs to change its colors, to change something, and they'll never win anything as long as I'm alive, and that's my curse to you. I've been covering these fuckers for 41 years. Not going to change. Now, Keefe is a young man. He's only 43. He replaced former coach Mike Babcock in November 2019. Watched his team score two goals or fewer, and he's 13 of his final 14 playoff games in charge. Not nearly got enough for the so-called core four, which I'm tired of hearing, of Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, William Nylander, and John Tavares, who account for roughly half of the club's salary cap. The Leafs also routinely have the second best goalie in most of the team's playoffs appearances, with the exception being last season's win against the Lightning. Keefe also led the Toronto Marlies to a Calder Cup title in 2018. Now, Trelevin, who is set to enter his second season running the squad, is scheduled to address the media Friday morning alongside new Maple Leaf Sports Sports and Entertainment President and CEO Keith Pelly, who now runs the team's parent company, and Leafs President Brendan Shanahan. Now, who is going to replace Sheldon Keefe? Well, I have a few suggestions. Look at Haley Wickenheiser, what she's done for hockey in a number of levels. Male or female teams are going to listen to her. Gardner McDougall, the undefeated CIS championship coach, one of the best people I've ever covered. He led UNB to an undefeated record this year. Just was a recent U18 World Championship staff member for Team McGill, as I'm calling it. Gill and his son and the rest of the great under-18s. And possibly Gordie Dwyer. Gordie's never coached in the NHL. He's coached in the Junior Olympics. He's coached in the Q. He's currently coach and GM of the Teton, Acadie Bathurst Teton Batters. He would be a good fit because he was always a rugged two-way player that knows how to win games. There's every imminent of possibilities, but you're probably going to see somebody within the system. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they reach out to Tortorella, if they reach out to maybe an established coach. But as it stands right now, ladies and gentlemen, here's the reality of things. You have one universe involving Toronto Maple Leaf fans. They don't touch the universe of the other teams. We got the NHL playoffs going on. The reason why they announced this now, they wanted to take all the momentum away from the Edmonton and Vancouver in their possible bid to win a Stanley Cup this year. That's bad form. They should have waited a few days, at least until the season was done. But they don't do it anymore. Toronto think they're gods. Like check my Mitch Marner podcast. So do I think it deserved to be fired? No, the whole team should have been fired. Every player in that team. And when you don't have a number one goalie, when you don't have four solid lines, like the 1977 to 79 Toronto Maple Leafs had more grit and determination than any Maple Leaf team that's made the playoffs over the last 7 years. You look at the good players they had: Sittler, McDonald, Thompson, John Anderson. You had the rugged players, the good defense, Mike Palmetier. That's a team I cheered the Leafs because I wanted the Leafs to be successful because it was a good opponent to the Montreal Canadiens, especially in 78 and 79. But do the Toronto Maple Leafs deserve all this media? I'm doing this as a public service to let the U.S. fans know that Keefe has been fired. But for the Canadian fans, I really don't want any more Toronto Maple Leaf fans on my channel unless it's just occasional hits, because you don't want to hang with somebody like me because I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan, I'm an Oakland A's fan, I'm a Toronto Blue Jays fan. All of these teams have won world championships in the years since Toronto won last. I want you to hang with the winner. I want you to hang with losers. So go on these Facebook sites that give you what you want to hear. Oh, we'll be there next year and we don't give up. Give it up. It'll be 58 years next year. And put it this way. The number one movie in America was In the Heat of the Night. Toronto has no heat and you can't make it through the night. Say like that song. If Toronto was a lover, let's say Toronto was a beautiful woman that was built like a brick shithouse. If Toronto was a lover, she wouldn't know where her blank was from her blank. That's how bad Toronto is. It is what it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for dropping in. If you like what you're doing here, give us a like, comment, subscribe, or share. If you don't like what I'm saying, don't leave a comment. Just fuck off from the channel. I don't want any more Toronto Maple Leaf fans, the pure ones, on the channel, because reality is not a part of your life, and I'm talking reality, and you need a complete exorcism. Maybe go to Ballard's grave and get a bunch of Jamaican or Haitian voodoo people and remove the curse. How's that saying? Have a good one. Bye.